Hey, everybody, we're a few minutes early, so I'm gonna give it just a minute.
We are?
Well, okay, we're 1 minute early.
It's not a few.
We've had lots of people on vacation this week. I think, Paul, you had what, 4 people?
Yeah.
Wednesday?
And Mirzad and I actually talked for an hour about everything except sewing machines.
That's okay. Let me open the chat here for you.
It was fun. I mean,
You know what?
It was daytime. I had customers.
Oh,
well, you literally missed nothing. We talked about my military career. Let's see, what else did we talk about? And Mirzad's travels around Europe and into Russia. Let's see, what else did we talk about? Lots of things. Oh, and then we did talk a little bit about sewing machines because I can never remember her name. Jen,
not this Jenny.
not this Jenny, but a different Jenny was on, and she did ask a question about a bobbin winder on a 66. But yeah, it was
Light week.
There were 4 of us on there, so
That's normal. June. We even found out we're leaving for Wisconsin in the morning. We're only gone until Sunday night, and then we're going to take Monday to recover because. And I'm realizing it takes me longer to recover from things that are even just like an overnight trip. But my mom frantically messaged me this morning and was like, did you guys get a car? Because we reserved one a month ago and we didn't get one. So yeah, I guess it's vacation season for everybody. So we did get a car, thankfully.
we did. Yes.
So it's pretty light on what we have. This is usually when I catch up because it kind of slows down on the remove your cover side a little bit, where it means I get caught up on the finishing the timing program and stuff. As far as tools go, we're still working on getting the stubbies out, but as I was telling, Kat's not on tonight. We're waiting for the magnetizers to come in. We're thinking the delay on our tools is because put their orders in before the tariffs came into effect, so they're backlogged.
Yeah,
it's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating.
Apparently.
So Paul verified that they got our money. Everything's been paid. We're just waiting for stuff to ship. So when that comes in, we have to weigh everything. That's why we can't really send out invoices without the shipping on them. Let's see. There is, this is inevitable. AI is starting to creep into the Facebook groups. I just saw it happen finally this week with the vintage one. They're still playing around what they're going to allow us to control. As it is right now, I have it pared down to like the most minimal that it'll let me, and that is to give a summary every now and then. It says that it might comment occasionally. I don't know if you've been in any of the sewing machine groups. I know that I don't think Mr. Kenmore's neighborhood has had it yet, but one of the vintage groups that Bob Wright is in, Bob Wright's, please turn that stuff off. We don't really have any option. But I do have ours narrowed down to where it's supposed to just be giving it a summary every now and then a post, which honestly, if it just does that and stays out of our way, would kind of be helpful to have that when you only have time to kind of see what's going on. So it's, I don't know, it's a mouse or a cat sitting on a couple of books is what our image is. So we're just going to try and keep it and limit it as much as I can. So I'm sure that remove your covers will come along and get that one. I think they're rolling it out in stages and then eventually the business group. So like I said, I've made a note. Unfortunately, this is not my choice. It just kind of is what it is. So we'll deal with, I think they named itself So Savvy. I don't know how savvy it will really be. I just have a small follow-up from last week. I hope that you all got something from the consignment information. I don't remember somebody came back and did ask about if you were going to, like, she lives rurally and doesn't think people are going to come to her house to like buy machines and things. If you could do it in reverse and consign with shops, absolutely. So my recommendation is you would take the same information that I presented and just expect that shop's going to ask for a percentage, or you're going to basically work out the same deal. And I think that's a great option for those, when you're working from home. I hadn't really had a chance to do that, but before I went into the quilt shop and had a public space, that was kind of the route I was going to take. People were still coming to my house, but I'm like, there's other craft places and things that would have worked out as a consignment option that everybody wins. So I don't think that would be a problem at all. Beyond that, I have a few notes. I'm sure you've all seen, for those of you who are keeping up on the industry drama, that Michaels did end up purchasing the trademark and rights to all of Joann's things, including some of their specific lines of yarn and stuff. We're all really curious if that's going to go the way that because I think they did the same thing to Hancock's when they went under, and that nothing came of that. I did see that Michaels are starting to increase the number of Unfortunate Brother and Singer machines that they will be offering in their stores. Ours here did get fabric, but it's like 2 rows. What I love online is everybody's like, you know what Michaels needs to do is get rid of the picture framing department that no one uses anymore and like turn that into a cutting counter. So maybe they'll hear enough feedback that happens. But you know, I feel like there's a real opportunity if somebody wants to capitalize. I mean, this is a huge effect on a nation of people that rely. I mean, even for me, when I think about, man, I just need some sheer, like I needed some snips, and thankfully there's some options. I was at our quilt shop, but it's like, just can't run to Joann's anymore and buy that stabilizer that you needed. So I did see that. And I suspect they're going to do a lot of online selling, which doesn't appeal to most of us. And then the big news to me was that the 4 main pattern companies have now sold to a liquidator. So that's Butterick, that's McCall's, Simplicity, and Vogue have all sold to a liquidator. I did read an in-depth article that said that was because the tariff, it doesn't have to do with the patterns. The patterns are made in the US, but the majority that carries that company financially is all imported from China. So they are being heavily affected by the tariffs, and having lost Joann's, which was their main seller, makes sense. So from what I understand, they sold everything to the liquidator for $1 plus 75% of the revenue. So the liquidator is going to get basically the lion's share of what's sold, and then that company is going to get that probably for their debt. But that makes me wonder, what does it look like now with sewing I mean, does that just go away, or?
Yeah, I mean, garment makers are going to have no place to buy patterns and no place to buy garment fabric because, I mean, what are they going to do?
I don't know. So those are the things that were on my radar today. And then I also got an email from Tacony, which is, I think it's because I'm partnered with Brewer, and Brewer and Tacony are kind of intermixed. Tacony is also the manufacturer of Baby Lock and like koala cabinets and some other things. They sent out an email talking about tariffs today, that they're being affected anywhere from 14% to 80%, depending on the product and where their things are coming from. And Tacony basically said, we're doing our best to mitigate that and not pass all of the costs on to the customer. So for the short term, they're committing to keeping the tariff increase at 3%. So Tacony is going to take a pretty big hit for a while on that. So I don't know. It's just very interesting. There's so much swirling around in our world right now. It's just like uprooting everything, and it's just really weird to see. So those are things I'm keeping an eye on. I have not seen anything about Brewer specifically. So when we were in Chicago, when we talked to Steve, he did say that they are being affected by tariffs on the Notion side, but they are still trying to eat that until they figure out where tariffs are going to land. So that's pretty much my what I have going on. Like I said, this has been a busy week for us, a little out of the norm. Is there anything good in the chat there?
I said there.
I am so tired today. I don't know the weather. We're getting more rain and more so we went to the concert Wednesday night and decided to take the train, and we were supposed to have low level storms. We had a tornado come through. It wasn't like the St. Louis tornado from May 16th, but as we're on the train, I'm like, oh, there was just a tornado where we just were. So that was fun.
Yeah, so Carrie just asked in the chat, how do you print out a pattern for clothes, poster setting, and then tape all the pages together? Yeah, that.
I will say, I do see in some of the groups a lot of libraries do have large scale printers now and will charge you minimally. If you go to Staples, they do costs, but some libraries, you do that, don't you, Pam?
Yeah, I've done both. So typically patterns are sold with 2 different layouts. Usually it's 3 PDFs, one of instructions, one of the like A4 or traditional US letter size, and then an A0 format, which is like one big honking sheet of paper
Yeah.
that you could print out.
And they're not fun. I mean, I've done some, but you have to really make sure that your scale is 100% and then taping them all together. I'm not the best at that. I did see a couple posts a few days ago before this announcement came, and one girl, I think it was in the Young Millennials group, was like, I am never doing that again. Like, I am never going to buy one that I have to tape together 30 pages of pattern pages and make it work. So
Yeah, I struggle enough just with like 2 pages with bags. I'm not about to try, like, I'll have to take it to Staples or something.
exactly.
No
I
way.
struggle with tissue. The tissue paper is not for me.
No.
All my leatherworking patterns are ones that I have to print out and tape together, and I
Mhm.
literally then tape them on or glue them on to folded out empty cereal boxes and then cut them out. That way I have them and I can reuse them, over and over again. So
Now, Jenny made a good recommendation about using a projector. And on a side note, I did see Joann's had sold the Ditto machine, which we saw a couple years ago at VDTA. And who did I see? Somebody just bought rights to it. I can't remember who, but remember it was.
oh
Ooh, I
yeah.
hope it was somebody good. I talked my dad into getting my mom the Ditto because she went with me to Joann's once and loved it.
It's
She loved the
cool.
idea that she could just put in her size, like her measurements, and it would print any pattern she wanted in her size. And she was so excited. So my dad felt all happy, that he was going to surprise her. And then she got it, opened it up at Christmas, was really excited, and then something wasn't working right. And then she found out you had to pay a fee, which we specifically asked because when I bought my Cricut, that's when they started charging monthly fees. And I didn't want her to have to be roped into that. If she wants to be roped into it, that's fine. But I didn't want her to have to be.
Yeah.
And so something on hers broke, the projector broke. So they sent her a new one for free. And so I just went and bought a, $50, $60 projector, but I still haven't had time or room to set it up yet.
Yeah.
But she had a lot, we've had a lot of health issues within the family for the last 8 months or so to a year. And so she hasn't really gotten a chance to use it. So I hope somebody bought it that's gonna put it to good use and doesn't end up making it worse than it already is, because it doesn't have a good reputation now.
It does, and it did it. I think when we first saw it, it was in 2023 at VDTA, and it was super cool to see. And then we went back and I started hearing the same thing that you said, Christy, like the feedback was like, it's super great when it works. However, there's bugs and issues. I'll go back and find out. I think it was announced in the Craft Industry Alliance from Abby Glassenberg. Because so I'll have to go back and see who bought it, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. So it was somebody of interest. I just don't remember who off the top of my head for some reason.
She has been able to make 2 shirts and they turned out really nice. She loves them. She loves wearing them all the time. They're flannel, so she'll have to make her something for summer now, but it gets very hot up here in North Carolina, so she's not gonna want those flannels much longer, if any more, period.
But that's good to
but
hear because it looked so promising. Like it really
it
did.
does. I thought it would be really cool. Now, I figured I could use it just with my bag making and
Mhm.
use the projector, and I loved
Yeah.
the way it had its own stand, at the top, so I don't have to put anything in my ceiling or anything like that. You can if you want to, but you don't have to.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, they have these little rod things that you can just enlarge depending on how tall. I guess it probably depends on how tall your ceilings are, but we're in a little modular home, so they're not very big.
Yeah, because what surprises me is even if you go looking for a traditional projector, they're not cheap. Like thankfully we've had the same one that's ancient that I do guild lectures with because it's got to be bright enough in a with all the lights on in a guild wherever a guild holds its meetings. But if you get something with enough lumens, like you're still looking at like $500-$600 at minimum for one of those. So
Yeah, I think I paid like 65 for mine, but it was on sale for 50% off. So, but it had really good reviews, but it's still in the box. Don't tell my husband.
no, my stuff lives in boxes for a long time. I finally get around to it. Well, that's yeah, so that a lot of interesting things happen. Oh, shut up, Alexa. I don't need your help. Well, does anybody have anything going on or anything? I said it's vacation season, we can tell.
Yeah.
Nothing?
The pattern companies. Go ahead, Pat.
to put an ad in that shopping magazine.
Yeah.
I sent them the mock-up of what I thought an ad should look like, and they put they basically took mine, moved it around a little bit, and then put a stock photo of a sewing machine behind it that looked good.
Oh,
Alright.
that's nice.
Yeah, so it's like I can't use their layout anywhere else. So, it's they own the copyright to that part, which
That's
is fine. But
Mhm.
it'll be end of the month before it's out. So,
Yeah, well, whenever it publishes, if you post a picture for us, we'd love to see it.
right, I
I'm
will.
glad I'm glad you did that because I'm curious to see what happens, from that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm having a hard time getting the word out because the only quilt guilds around here are like 10 people meeting in somebody's living room.
Yeah.
So that's not really much of an option. And the other thing is I keep getting phone calls do you teach sewing?
Yeah.
You do alterations. Can you hem my jeans?
There actually is a place near me, and I need to go over there because I keep sending people to this woman she does alterations. She does alterations of like prom dresses, formal
Yeah.
wear, and she also teaches sewing lessons. So I want to connect with her
Yeah.
of hey, here's some of my cards if any of your students need their machines cleaned, and also to let her know if
That's the network you need because I feel like when you can partner with someone, that's a good matchup like that.
I think it's good for me that if I can answer that question of
Mhm.
here is a place that teaches, and I've looked at her website and I think she charges like $60 an hour for private lessons.
Which is really good. That's a good rate.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would be like, that's a lot of money, but it's like you're getting an hour of this woman's
And
time.
one-on-one time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty reasonable.
And she may be having some small group classes if there's enough interest. So
That would be good. Yeah, I feel like that to me, those connections are the things that grew. Like when you plant those seeds and with those folks, those are what bloomed for me. Early on was partnering because I mean I didn't have time to teach sewing. I could teach. I taught basic quilting in the quilt shop, and I honestly don't love teaching that thing. That's just not my. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't bring me joy, therefore it doesn't translate very well. But I really feel like that's where it gets really fun is when you can partner with people who you could do what they don't like to do and vice versa. So those are the seeds that really bloomed for me. Let's see.
really don't want to teach it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Spike, you were gonna say something.
I was just gonna say, you were talking about the tariffs and all that stuff. The fabric companies are now starting to announce them.
Yep.
And we just got word from Riley Blake that they're going to be going to, I think it's 5%. They're going to add onto it.
That's not
And
terrible.
No, could be.
no,
worse.
it's not. It's, that's pretty much what we're seeing is they're absorbing part of the tariffs, but they're passing on some of it. We got 10% for stuff coming out of Pakistan,
Mm-hmm.
predominantly wide backs.
Oh yeah, like boutiques probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I think is going to be interesting too that I observe online is how much Joann's trained people to look for cheap fabric. And the sticker shop for the people that now are like, I like my local quilt shop, but that's not the budget I'm used to. I do think it's also going to when we're without Joann's long enough, people are still going to quilt. I mean, that's inevitable, but I think there's going to be this painful short-term period where it's like it's just like you're wandering around like, what do I do?
Well, we're starting to see that in our shop because
Mhm.
we'll have people come in, they'll look around, they'll look at a couple bolts, and they'll walk out.
Mhm.
And we're not, we're actually one of the least expensive quilt
Mhm.
shops still because our prices, we haven't had to raise our prices yet.
I
Like,
had severe sticker shock my first time into an actual quilt shop I was like, $9 for this little bitty amount. I thought they were insane. And I was like, no, no, they're way overcharged. And I went to another one and it was the same way. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I know people are gonna have that sticker shock for sure.
I know Spike can speak to this too, but I will say people, when they would come in and see our prices, were like, God, these people must be getting rich. The profit margin in fabric shops is so minimal. It's like Bree and I never took a salary at all. My only living came from sewing machines. So it's like that's the only way our shop could survive, was to make sure we paid our employees and keep everything running. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
an era.
it's you know, the cost of quilting fabric, you know, for quality quilting fabric that you get from these um various fabric companies is is pretty high, you know, in comparison to what people are used to at Joann's.
Mm-hmm.
But the quality is different.
It is.
You know, you also have to look at the quality of the fabric is exceedingly different
Mm-hmm.
in these quilt shops. And most, I mean, we won't touch any of the big box store fabric that's
Yeah.
available at places like Checker and Brewer, because the quality won't match the rest of what we have.
The owner of the quilt shop that we bought from used to, what is, you might know, Spike, it's kind of like the clearinghouse. Like, you can drive up there twice a year and buy bolts, but it's usually like you can get some good things. It's like when Tula Pink or K Facet or any of the big names had like certain SKUs that didn't sell real well, you could grab those. But then you were also getting like filler fabric. But it was like when Bree would send somebody else, they would come back and it was like, I mean, it's like, it's so low end compared to the rest of the quilt shop that you're like, it's already discount fabric. But yeah, once you get used to using quilt shop fabric, it's almost hard to go back to something from Walmart or Joann's, because stuff doesn't shrink in a weird way. And it's not like everything
Right.
lines up like it's supposed to, and it doesn't unravel. So it is
Right.
much different quality.
And you know, a good example is like Moda on their wide backs, which you're only going to get through, you know, a quilt store. They've increased the thread count on their
Mhm.
wide backs.
Yep.
So it's an even smoother, silkier feel, more like a sateen,
Mhm.
even though it's quilting cotton.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed, on a side note, I'm a big fan of Moda Grunge, and I saw a lot of long armors complaining they're moving to digital printed rather than the typical. And I hate that, because part of the fun of the Moda Grunge is the texture. I mean, it's not super textured, but it stands up off of the fabric. But I
We're
understand.
we're not seeing that.
I haven't seen it either, because I've only seen it on wide backs. I know wide backs are typically digitally printed that way, but I've not seen that on the actual
Yeah,
fabric either.
on actual grunge,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
feel like that would be a big disservice to themselves if they did that. So
yeah, I think so too. You know, we're not seeing anything like that. You don't see anything like grunge is being digitally printed, are you?
that was a couple months ago that I think it was Beth Ann Nimish or somebody mentioned it.
Yeah, my wife says wide backs maybe.
Yeah, I did pick up some wide back at our local, and it was almost satiny feeling. And I was like, if you look at it, it didn't have the same texture. So, but that was a wide back. That wasn't a standard.
Well, remember what I said about the higher thread count?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I
It could
mean,
make it feel that way.
I guess it can, but the printing like is very flat, whereas on my regular, it's still it's not the cotton, it's the printing that was almost like you could feel it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
I'll have to go back and look at it now because I'm curious. Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
they don't do that. So, I'm gonna scroll up while you're typing here, or do you have questions? Before I forget, Christy is going to do a presentation. She's working. Actually, you want to go ahead and say it, Christy, while you're on? I don't want to butcher anything.
I guess I better practice, huh?
Yes.
So I've been talking with Andy, and I had somebody reach out originally wanting to do like a guild talk, and I thought that the whole point of us in this business, like under Andy, I guess you could say, was that we would send referrals her way, as a thank you for teaching us what you've taught us, And Andy was like, no, girl, basically, I'll paraphrase for her. No, girl, you do it. That's what we're training you for.
Yeah, I'm not, that doesn't mean, let me clarify though, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you take everything in our programs and go
Right.
teach that. That's not at all. This is all for teaching people like in between machine maintenance, just the basics. Like, so I just want to be clear.
I was going to clarify that next anyways. So anyways, she's given me permission to basically do it on my own here. And I didn't think I was anywhere near ready for that. And that's why I was like, no, you do it. And she was just really like, no, seriously, you do it. And so I've been working on it for a few months now, I think probably 2 or 3 months. And I have but I booked my first speaking engagement, I guess we'll call it, for a UK bag maker and her Patreon group, which has about 50 to 60 members in it. And so that's going to be on the 22nd of June. And so what I would like to do, just so that I can get some practice, and especially with people who know what I'm talking about, I would like to invite everybody. There's no pressure. You don't have to attend if you don't want to. Next Friday, is it next Friday? Friday
Yeah,
the
the
13th. To come. I think we said we were going to start at about 5:30, and I can give you guys the link. Some of you guys may have already gotten that. Some of you guys are on my friends page already. If not, I'll post the link
Post
in
in the group if you would.
I'm not gonna give it to all of Andy's groups. I'm just gonna give it to the business class, the ones that we get together on Friday and stuff. That way it stays within our little group that we have and the community that we've built together with Andy's help. But again, I'd just like to invite everybody to come out if you can, great. If not, no pressure, no what do you call it? You don't have to.
No obligation. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I do encourage if you're free to attend, because this is one of those things. I know that we had to postpone my Know Better, So Better. I'm revamping it because it's been the same lecture for over 10 years now, and it needs a little bit of updating. I'm probably gonna at the beginning of the first weekend, not the 4th of July weekend, but the weekend after that, I'm going to schedule to do my version as I promised you all. But this way you can see kind of what Christy's doing. And if you guys want to take that on for yourself, this is the thing that I feel like really has made my mark with guilds, and anywhere that any shop that would let me come in on a Saturday sampler and talk about just general between maintenance. Because every day quilt shops are getting people that are learning from YouTube and nobody's teaching them these things. You'd be surprised at how many people are like, what's a bobbin? So I do encourage you to tend to, support and see and give any feedback, but also see what's possible to offer to your community too. So yeah, if you would post your link, and all your graphics are looking so good, Christy. I know you've been working really hard on learning all that, and it looks really, really good. So
Thank you.
make sure
I appreciate it. I can post I think I can post it in the chat where it'll come
yeah,
up.
if you do it in the chat, and I'll also make sure when we're done, I can post it in the actual group too, if you want.
Okay. And I can post too. I just was kind of
Okay.
holding off until,
Yeah.
we discussed it here. I know
Yeah.
we've been
And I
privately chatting,
totally
but
think I forgot to email you back and told you that's good for me. So
I didn't hear anything, but I knew we were going to talk eventually. So either way, I was going to have to do it that night anyway. So
that's good. Yeah,
either with or without you, I have to do it.
that works.
I need to get some practice in, because I still get kind of like nervous when I'm talking, and like it's going to be different because I won't even have faces to look at. So I know I'm going to kind of walk all over myself a little bit. I kind of expect that as somebody learning, but I also tend to pick up myself pretty quickly to where they don't know what I'm supposed to be saying or where I was going with something, and it'll still sound professional, but we'll see. I'm excited about it. And the only thing I wish is that I had a cute, snappy name like Know Better, So Better.
Oh, it took me years to think that up.
I know. Trust me, I was letting ChatGPT try to figure it out for me and everything. But we narrowed it down, and it's, what is it? I forgot. I'll think about it.
That's okay.
I can't remember all of a sudden. It's longer.
I will remind you all 100 times, people want you to show up as an authentic human. People don't want something that's so polished that it feels like it was produced and everything's got to be perfect. They're going to want, the more that you stumble and you're human, you're on their level. So don't let that get into your head too much. It's going to be totally fine. That's because people are like, well, that's great because you're on camera all the time. I didn't start this way. I I mean, I still get nervous when I have to, every time I do an open house, I still get nervous and my stomach gets all the way it does. And sometimes open house is a disaster. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
If it's an off night, if it starts off so weird, it stays weird for the whole thing. And then we're just all weird in it together. So just be authentic and be you. And it's your passion. It's what I hear most about what I do is the passion comes through. And it always, as to quote Paul, my flabbers are always gasted when I get emails that say your passion and what your willingness to help people always comes through. And that's why you just show up authentically and you'll be fine. So don't be scared of camera work, y'all.
If I can chime in, because that's all I did was camera
That's
work for
right.
20 years in corporate marketing.
Yeah.
The thing that always helped me when I'm presenting on Zoom, because I will look at camera instead of at the screen. And if you're doing that, you can't exactly see who's on the screen. Sometimes you have to look down to see like notes and slides and stuff. I always imagine that it is someone that is my biggest cheerleader, someone that always wants me to do well, that's who I'm speaking to.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, it's my mom. Like when I podcasted about quilting for 10 years, I was always just talking to her because I would always forget to write her emails about what the heck I was sewing. So if you just kind of keep in your mind, like the one person, like your best girlfriend, whoever, your dog that you're talking to, that will help kind of calm you down because you're like, oh, well, they're already friendly and receptive and want me to do well.
Is it like the old
Very
days where you
true.
picture them in their underwear?
No, I don't do that. That's weird.
No,
That would be more awkward.
no,
It's real
moms
weird.
hate too.
Yeah. I was just asking. Yeah, and I don't know. I'll take a picture and post it. But the one thing that I did, because when I figured I was going to be on camera pretty much all the time, is I bought a cheap camera. I have our webcam here, but it's on a plastic acrylic thing that sits. When I do like an open house, it actually sits in the middle of the screen, so that when I'm still looking at my slides, my eyes are still there rather than being somewhere else. It's a Logitech camera that I think was $40, and it's the plastic acrylic thing, but it's on Amazon for cheap, and it's been like one of the best tools we've had. So I'll post a picture of it, and I think find that really helpful. But that's a great tip because I've never thought about doing it that way. I just pictured, I don't know, sea of faces, and that helps.
Nah, talk to
I feel like
whoever
I almost
loves you.
need to look at the camera because usually I'm like looking everywhere but the camera, but I've never watched myself back, which is probably a bad thing and a good thing at the same time. So like, I don't know what it looks like when I'm talking to you. Like now with you guys, I can look at each of you guys' camera and I'm sure I look fine. But like when I'm trying to, oh, there's the camera, I'm like,
Yeah, I'll
So-
post a picture of this thing that I have because it made it easier. And if you can when you do your call Friday night, record it so that you can watch yourself back. Don't obsess too much where you messed up, just so that you know that you're aware of, those little things. And you get better with time, honestly.
I actually found a 3D print file and printed
Yeah,
one.
you did.
I use one on my calls too, and it just hangs right down in the middle of the screen.
Mhm.
And I can, that way when I'm looking at everybody, I'm still kind of looking at the camera, so it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it'll help because I'm doing it as a presentation style. So I've typed up the presentation. I'm still working on it, of course. I'll never be done, I'm sure, but it feels like it anyways.
That's why I
But,
do slides, because I don't want to wander off all over the place.
yeah, and that's the only thing that's going to work for me because I have ADHD and I'm already hard enough to keep on the track anyways. So
Yep.
Yeah, Pat Lowe said I just did a lot of practicing and watched myself, and she
Yep.
said it does get easy.
It does.
It gets easier.
The more you get out of your head, the better it gets. Just when you just learn to just be, and it is what it is. I mean,
And turn off the self view, apparently,
yes,
so you don't get distracted.
the what? The selfie
the
view?
self view. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you can't see
Oh,
yourself.
that's a good tip.
Yeah.
That's a good tip.
Yep, that's what I do. Did you have any questions in there or any?
I don't think so. George had asked earlier about looking for a belt for an industrial, and if any of you guys, I know we don't do industrial, but I've been digging into mine. I did
Seems
find a company. They're in Ohio. It's Toledo Industrial Sewing Machines or whatever. I put a link in there for George. It's tolinsewmock.com. Basically, it's every word abbreviated. But if you go into their parts page, they have a link in there to a master catalog, and it is hundreds of pages right? And it's broken up by machine, and this is for industrial, but they have screws. They have, and I mean, they really go into the description of the screws and things like that. Now, it doesn't have prices or anything like that, but it does have part numbers. So you can look those part numbers up, and then you can either, use that to search other places, or you can call them or contact them and ask them if they can get get the parts for you or whatever. I've already used it to find a couple of things for the industrial that I've been working on. And it's really a really cool resource, if nothing else, just to see a place where all of these parts are available. So George, I hope you can find the belt that you're looking for there. They seem to have, I mean, they really do have, it looks like everything, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, thanks. I need to look for that. I do have a regular treadle belt,
Uh-huh.
but real thin, and this looks a little bit thicker because it is for an industrial motor. It's a clutch motor. So
Ah,
the other treadle's real thin. So
right.
so let me look for one.
So
You sure you want to stick with leather?
I was
No,
gonna
that's
say,
no, not necessarily. I'm just saying
Oh, okay.
this
we
is where
talked
Dawn
about the
suggested.
plastic one or just use a regular V belt.
So
you know.
this is
Yeah.
where Dawn's suggestion on would work, where if you need to make a custom one, right, Dawn, that green stuff, because it comes in thicker, if I remember, it's different.
Yeah, I remember someone was talking about it. So I was kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
that stuff's amazing. Like that really blows my mind, that stuff that you just melt and stick together and it like does
Yeah.
not break.
Where was
I'm
that
bringing
from?
it.
Where was
Let's see. Do you remember where we?
This came off of Amazon.
Yeah, I got an
Oh,
Amazon.
that's the one you brought out the other time. I remember
Yeah.
This stuff
Here,
comes
let
off
me-
of Amazon.
let me pin
This
this
is
for a
the V
second.
belt that came with mine.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Mine has a clutch motor as well. Which, by the way, you can get that same company. They sell a servo motor for less than $200.
I know, right.
Shipping.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the V belt. It doesn't have any markings on it at all.
As long as it fits. I mean, it just goes on, it's gonna turn it, that's all you really need.
Right.
I'm not too hung up. I got the basic principle, just put a belt on it. It happened to have the leather one on there, and I said, well, okay, I have one. And then I got there and I said, whoops, mine's a little thinner.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
measure it.
those clutch motors are kind of
What
scary.
model is it? Carrie's asking what model your industrial is. It's a
Mine?
Yeah.
I didn't even look at it. It's just a Singer straight stitch older model. I don't even know what I didn't even take a picture. I
Ours is
just
a
said,
I remember. It's got a W in the middle.
I know mine is a 111W 155.
that sounds too long. I don't think it's that long. It's just short. It's just a short number. I didn't pay attention
There's so
to it.
many different models, man.
Yes,
It's
but,
ridiculous.
a belt's a belt, I think. I don't know. You tell me. A belt's a belt. You got the drive motor.
It can depend. It really can depend on the motor. There's so many different size hand wheels and different reducers and things.
Yeah, no,
It really
yeah.
depends.
I got you. I know the reducers and all that, but it's just basically you got to drive and you got the carrier behind it. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey
they-
guys,
Get
this
stuff
is
in
this is
different-
Andy on the Singer website.
Uh-huh.
They're selling and actually I believe they have on sale spools of leather belt that you can make it the size you want.
Right. That's the
On
one I
Singer?
saw that.
Yeah, on the
57 bucks.
Singer
That's interesting.
Featherweight website. It's on sale
Oh.
this week. If it's not still on sale, they do
interesting.
have spools of it.
Well, I hope that I actually trust that's April and Carmen Henry, and they are fantastic people. I really usually I trust them with just about everything. The issues that we ran into with the leather post-COVID in the shop was that the only thing you could really get on the market are the skinny
the
ones.
skinny stuff.
And the
Right.
problem
That's
is-
for the
and
treadles.
Yeah, but it's like it's skinnier than even a higher quality. You're paying probably $12 for one of those. And even if you got the hole punch just right for the staple, the stress of the belt going around made the staples rip out much easier.
Mhm.
When I was doing a ton of treadle work and people were coming in and buying treadle belts or we were restoring them, I used to be able to get them by the spool from from PD60, and it was a really good quality leather, but you're also looking at a probably $200 and something investment because you got to buy it
Yeah,
by
yeah,
like
but it's
many
full.
yards. So it
Yeah.
worked out when I was doing a lot of it. That's why we kind of moved to the Amish for treadle belt.
Amish
But
treadle belts.
Yeah, so those are, if you search for Amish treadle belt, those are the ones that are rubber and they have the like a metal thing that kind of sticks together. They are fantastic.
Okay,
And then I
that's
think in
what it
this
was.
case, like for industrials, and that's like it's almost playing around. We're actually wanting to test this green stuff on some instead of doing those stretchy motor belts like the generic
Right.
all purpose, they strain your motor. So we're kind of want to play around with the thinner version of that stuff on machines and see if it would solve a solution too. Oh, Amy Winstead said, have you tried AutoZone? The belt that came with my 226 says Goodyear on it.
Yeah, you go to
I
auto
was
parts.
just
find
reading
those
the same
genuines. Oh,
thing. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah,
it's a
McMaster
standard,
car.
it's a standard V belt.
Right.
And all you need to know is the length
There you
of
go.
the circumference of the belt, and go purchase it from Napa, AutoZone,
Yep.
whatever.
There
Yeah,
is
well-
a good tutorial on one of the websites that I have bookmarked somewhere that I'll post in the vintage group probably, but that does tell you how to measure, and it's a whole method on how to do the math to figure out the size of the
Right.
belt you need, which comes in really handy for a lot of Kenmores and Ricars and things that don't have a standard. Some of them aren't listed anywhere. If you can at least figure out what the length is, you can find alternative sources, like maybe the screen stuff even. And
Yeah,
yes, the
'cause if you-
McMaster is great.
I was saying, if you wanted to order off McMaster, you got to know exactly what size
Exactly.
and how long. But if you got that, then they probably have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're always looking for resources for stuff like that.
Hey, Andy, I'll give you all a tip, although I know we're not supposed to work on industrials in this
Oh, no,
room.
you're fine.
Oh, no,
We
we're-
work on industrials. We
We're
just
not. We're not.
Yeah, no.
My
Yeah.
goal is to get them to get comfortable with it so we can.
Yeah, no,
That's
we,
my personal
I'm
goal.
working on
We
one
just-
now,
we
actually.
just tell people all the time, I'm not an expert in industrials. I'm not afraid of them. We just totally not, like, I can't thread one and make one work.
Right, right.
No,
Well, a
they're all
tip
the
on
same.
it is
They're
if you're
all the
working,
same.
if you are working on them, and a lot of times, when the belt is on the motor, when the belt, especially the clutch motor, it is really hard to turn, like really hard to turn.
Yep.
So if you get a belt that's just like an extra inch
It's
or
really
so,
added
an
a lot of
extra,
pressure.
yeah, it releases so much of the pressure. You can work on the machine and and turn the wheel, and you're totally fine. You can even run it, and then you can put the original belt back on and make sure everything works.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but if you have, because like when I work on them, I have a longer belt, just slightly longer. That makes it so much easier to work on them.
Just so you know, when you're not here, we talk about you a lot because you probably have more experience than anyone in this group on industrials. So your name comes up a lot in here.
Oh, well, it's just from sheer necessity because in my area,
Mhm.
I think there might be one other person, but he might have retired because, yeah, I got a 205 this week. So I really need to figure out, yeah, hopefully by the time if you ever do them, I will be able to help you because the big thing are the tables, it's just
Yep.
lifting them in and out of the tables to work on
Oh,
them and stuff.
That's the hard
So,
part, carrying them. Yeah, other than
Yeah,
that,
it is.
I don't
worry.
see a problem. It's a machine. I don't.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not
And I
worried
have a
about-
cart that I roll them on. So when
Oh,
people
yeah.
pull up,
Yes,
I can
yes.
roll it
Mhm.
out and roll it back.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, getting a slightly longer belt makes it so much easier to work on.
I might just go with a V belt. I didn't, but it's just that it had an old treadle belt, so that's what I put in. And then I said,
Yeah,
I've seen
V-belts
people-
are the way to go.
I've seen people
Yeah,
use-
I'd head to AutoZone and see what they've got.
But
Of
I've seen
course.
people use pantyhose on
On treadles. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
on
Yeah, but
pantyhose and aquarium tubing even.
Yeah, and this one that was on mine is 3/8 inch on the wide part and quarter
Uh-huh.
inch on the narrow at the
So that's a
bottom of the
very
V.
narrow- It's not a very big V belt. That's
No.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get really fancy, there is a belt that is it's an adjustable link belt. It's expensive. But you can get them in various sizes. If you look up AccuLink belts, they're popular among woodworkers because they take the vibration out because of the way they're made, but you can actually take links out of these belts and shorten them or lengthen them however you need to, but they are expensive. I used to have them on a couple of my woodworking tools in my shop, and they were really nice. I was looking at Harbor Freight. Unfortunately, theirs is a 1/2 inch wide one.
Yeah.
The 3/8 inch ones are a little more expensive because they're a little more fiddly and stuff. But yeah,
I know.
you don't want to spend that kind of money though.
I think I'm just naive. I mean, I just go to auto parts. Hey, I need a V-belt this size.
Mhm.
No, thinner.
No, I think
thinner.
that's
Yeah,
smart. I
that
don't
will
think
work. I know plenty of people that have taken their belt down to Napa and
Oh yeah.
had them,
To me, it's a
I
no-brainer.
need something like this, and they'll be like,
There
okay,
you go.
Let someone else do that work.
absolutely.
Well, they got that measuring rod. They put it in there, and oh, this is what
Yep.
size you need. That's it.
Exactly.
It's just
Yeah.
math. It's all it is.
That's the problem for me.
Just math.
Well,
Such
I'm
a
just
good
saying,
stuff.
I'm just too naive. But to me, I'm used to getting stuff for the tractor or whatever. Hey, I need one of these, buddy.
Yeah.
Go
Not
to
in this
tractor
world. No, it's a treasure hunt on this world. Chrissy, I don't know if I have somebody that I connected with back in the day. Are you looking for something specific by any chance?
Yeah, it's called their Dream Needle or something. It's that
Oh.
big one that's like 18
Oh.
inches.
The way you get that is I think only wholesale. Maybe I got mine through maybe either PD6. It's upstairs.
Oh.
It's upstairs from Coat Market.
Oh.
I think it costs about $60 wholesale, so it's not
Oh.
terrible.
Yeah,
It's
that's a whole lot better than the price they gave me.
they probably gave you
Yeah, I was hoping that, she was super nice about it. I emailed info@schmetzneedles.com and I was like, hey, I've been looking for this and I can't find it. Hey, how do I get it? And I
Yeah.
figured it was probably like a dealer thing, but I was like, it never hurts to ask, right? Like,
Right.
I wouldn't be where I am now if I hadn't sent somebody a message, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
you never know. And so I was hoping that she'd be like, oh yeah, it's like $40. It's $169.
That makes sense because it was probably around $60 back in the day, which was wholesale. So you'd sell it for 120-ish or higher now. So I think I got mine through either Brewer when I was working with the dealer or through I don't think it was PD60. I'll see if I can find a source. But also maybe email her back and let her know what you're doing and ask if they will send you some educational materials that you can have. So if you start doing things in person, I have a whole box. It's like every time I do a lecture for a guild, even if it's a Zoom lecture, I send them a package with enough packets for everybody. They'll send you little booklets on how to choose the right needle. Yeah, if you want to. But they're really generous about their education. If you've ever followed their newsletters, they have really good tips that you can take from that and put in your stuff too. But Schmetz is like top notch on that education.
Yeah,
What were you
that's
looking
actually I did let them know, and they sent me something FedEx. It'll be here Monday, I think they
good.
said. And I'm sure I'm not going to get surprised with one of the big needles, but
Probably not.
I have
Plus
been
the money.
I have
What
been
do you-
playing on.
What are you looking for?
It's like this. It's an example needle of like a sewing machine needle. It's like 18 inches tall, but it's where you can actually show them like the neck of the needle and the
Shank
tip
and
and the shank and like where the different colors are and why they're the different colors.
You mean these?
I can't tell. It's
We
blurry.
can't. Yeah.
Well,
Go one at a time. Maybe.
I can't get it to focus. I made this myself.
Oh, sell me one, George. I just don't have
sell, I'll give.
169.
I'm from Texas. I'm in North
Carolina.
I know, but I said I'm from Texas. We don't. This is what we do. We help
We
everybody.
can't hardly see it, but look, he's
Oh.
made his own.
Look at this. I made it. I went
$49
to
on
Home
PD6.
Depot. I bought the rod. Okay. I sanded this part down. I put a little
Oh my
tip.
steamer
I
bird.
flattened it with the sander on this part.
Yeah,
I
that's a
cut it
lot of
through
work.
with the tip. That's what I do. That's what
Okay, well, George, sell me
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, send me a message. I want one.
What'd you make it out
Okay.
of?
I was
What?
gonna make it out
Is
of
it-
a pool noodle and then just pray that it worked out. But
Is it
This is
wood or
awesome.
metal,
Look.
George? Is
Huh?
it wood?
It's upstairs on my thing, I think.
But yours.
Yes, it's
I don't have
wood.
to go get it. I don't worry.
Oh yeah, I went to Home Depot. I bought this rod, and I just cut it. I got 3 out of 1. I got a
That's pretty
discount because
impressive.
it was crooked, and I said, "Oh, give me a
Dennis
Is
said
it
they're
a
$50
wooden dowel?
Yes, that's all it is.
What size wooden dowel? Like an inch wooden dowel?
Let me check.
Always down to new
Right
top
at an
five.
inch, right at an inch, right? Maybe 7/8, but that's what it is.
Wow.
Oh,
Thank you, Dennis. Do you need to have a membership with them or?
for what?
For PD60, yeah, that's wholesale. So you'd
Okay.
have to just, and they're not terrible. I mean, you just have to submit their little form and they'll give you an account. And I think their minimum order is like $25. That's why we've been with PD60 for years.
Okay, I'll look into them. But Jorge, is it Jorge or George?
It don't matter.
Okay,
George-
well, Jorge George.
There you go.
Here,
Send me an
let me-
invoice.
I'm gonna pin this up. Paul brought mine down. I don't know why you ran out, but it's okay. So this is what Christy's talking about.
Yeah.
George's is probably cooler because it's much bigger, but you can see it's actually got the groove in the front.
Okay, I
And it's
got
got
it
the
right
eye,
here.
and then it's got the shank here in the back.
I
And
got
it
it
does
right here.
help because people don't understand why the needle has to be in the proper way and why there's a groove and a shank and why it matters. So that's really impressive, George. I got to be honest with
Oh,
you.
I
That's
remember.
like,
I'm a 25-year
stuff.
technology instructor with vocational schools.
yeah, I forget about that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh.
let me show you what else for anybody who's interested. If you have a PD60, I think still does this. This is like some of the things they'll send you. First, they give you bags. And they look like this. So they have these a lot for when you buy them at the store. They're supposed to put like your quilt shop, they're supposed to put them in these bags so that you don't throw it in,
Yes.
and then you end up throwing the plastic bag away with the needles in it. There's also a small book. There's more than this stuff, but here's a small fold out that shows you your needle education.
Yep.
And also explains why it matters, you know, that you're
Yep.
using the right needle. This is my favorite one. This is the pocket guide. And quilt shops used to sell these for $5, but it has like literally every needle you can get from Schmetz in there and explains what it's for. And then we actually traveled with these to VDTA this last year, and the lady that was weighing our bags at the airport thought it was hilarious. She's like, "What is this now?" And we're like, "Oh, that's a sewing machine anatomy. It tells you how to," and she was like, "What do you need this for exactly?" We're like, "I don't know. It's a luggage tag. Okay."
There you
And,
go.
Same
but
reason
then they
I want one.
yeah, they're nice. And then they also had, I don't have them in here, but they also have little booklets for kids specifically, for people that are young sewists that are starting to learn. And then I always put, of course, in my little pack, yeah, there's a pipe cleaner
Yes.
for that in between maintenance. And then I would, of course, put a business card, a coupon, stickers, whatever you have in there, to promote yourself. So I know that through both Checker and maybe PD60, I'm not sure about PD60, that you could get all of these things sent to you for free. But you can also email the Schmetz company, and like she said, they will FedEx some things to you and to have. They're very big on people educating people about Schmetz.
Yeah, she was very supportive, and I think I was watching the Smetch YouTube channel, and the lady Rhonda pulled it up, and I sent info@smetchneedles.com or whatever, and the person who responded's name is Rhonda too, but I don't know if it's the same Rhonda.
I bet it is.
Might be.
I think so.
Because I think that's the same Rhonda that was at VDTA.
So
Probably.
now she's probably like, "Oh God, that girl hit me up on YouTube too."
Oh no, they really like that. I mean, like I said, they are very high quality needles. It's the only needle I use, any brand that I use, because they prove themselves over and over. But the fact that they go to such lengths,
Except in your long arm.
yeah, except in my, well, you can't use them in a long arm. So other than that, I am very loyal to Schmetz.
Yeah.
Cam had a question about belts. I don't want to lose
Oh.
that in there.
Oh
Let's
yeah, it was
see.
about.
A question.
Where was it?
There it is.
She said, "Is the tolerance limit for sizing belts still accurate if measuring an old, possibly stretched belt at the store?"
Oh, that's a good question. I guess you would have to, if it's obviously stretched, I think you'd probably have to account for that somewhat.
Somewhat, but I don't.
On most motors, you can adjust the belt enough that I think you could compensate for that, right?
Yeah, I never really worried
I
about
don't
it.
think we have either.
Well, I wasn't sure what the length iterations were. Like, oh, do they sell the belts by like every quarter of an inch? So you just size it down and then
Oh,
you
that's a good.
jiggle it a little bit, or
Here's
is it-
the thing. If you know what the machine model is, go to Sewing Parts Online and look it up and see what the belt is that they recommend for it
If they
and
don't,
get the information.
but there's a lot of models that won't have that because they're not made anymore.
True.
So in that case, then you would probably have to do the old, I would say not string because that's probably too But I will dig up that tutorial. But if you had the belt, you
Yeah.
know, that was stretched out, you could still measure.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually when you adjust the motor to the tension on the belt, it will give you enough leeway that it should compensate for that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. That was a good question.
Not unheard of, but I'd overthink something. So,
No.
you know,
Oh, that's my department.
I think you're sitting in the right group, Pam. This is a
Yeah.
whole group of overthinkers.
Absolutely.
That's why we gather every Friday, so we stop overthinking.
That's why I call it date night. My husband doesn't
is.
understand it.
Date
Like I
night.
was telling him a story on the way here. I picked up 2 sewing machines from a family member who's gonna have me work on their machines. And I was telling him a story, and I was like, you know, and I was like, I was talking about the needle, and number 1, he has no interest in it.
Oh,
and then
no.
number 2, he's like, Chrissy, I get it, get to the point. And I'm like, sorry, I'm just excited.
There is no point.
Yeah.
There's lots of points. You got to choose when to stop.
We'll just ask Uncle Rick to get that needle for you. I'll do a little lab on that, how to make it. And
Thank
I'll
you.
put it
Yeah,
in.
that would be so cool.
appreciated. That's so
That
cool.
would be really cool.
I was not expecting you to pull out a bunch of big needles.
No
And
kidding.
if you don't have a YouTube video, but you want to make a video, I'll be happy to host it on my YouTube video for you. Like if you want to sell them or if you want to like get the knowledge out there.
I'll send it out and you can just say, hey, listen, this guy has it in Texas. You know,
Okay.
I'm just ask Uncle Rick. That's me.
I was gonna
Ask
say,
Uncle Rick.
put it on the Uncle Rick channel, man.
You know, yes. And the good thing about it, it doesn't have to be precise.
Mhm.
It's the information.
You're
that
not
makes
actually
the
going
point.
with it.
Right.
Because they're not going to put it on and try to get a hook timing onto it. It's just explain the very crucial why
Yep.
you have the shank, why you have the flat, why you got the long groove, why there's no groove whatsoever on the other side to make the loop so the hook can grab it. You know, and the point, and then it's pointed and round and all the other good stuff. And there's no color here. We'll just say there's colors. We don't need to worry about that right now.
Yeah.
This is the important thing. This is what you need
But
to
for the
I-
people that are not getting these things, now we do have to remember in modern age, you got about 30 seconds to keep people's attention on these. But I will say that people really enjoy this because no one has talked to them about these things before.
Mm-mm.
This is not something a manual tells them. No one on YouTube is telling them. So these are the things that people crave that they don't even know how to ask for. So when you can demonstrate these things and show them, that's what
Absolutely.
people really want.
Yeah.
And Cor-
I've almost started working on the bobbin tension. The whole thing, the tension, not the bobbin, the upper tension. Oh, I've got some little disc platters I'm working on.
He's like,
hey,
this is what we've been fantasizing about forever, George. Is having,
Oh, this is
having
me.
some
You
odd
gotta
things
talk to
demonstrate.
me. I'm on board.
you'll have a whole new set of customers just for the stuff you're making.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Well,
this
what
is
are-
it. 'Cause
what's the
this is
writing on
it.
there?
George is going to
Oh.
have a factory.
I'll work on this. I will. I mean, I made this almost overnight. Just about. I had to get it from my class. I hadn't had it, and I saw that Schmitz needle, and I said, I ain't paying for that. I'll make it myself, just like that.
What's the
love that.
writing that you have on yours? I can't tell.
What's that?
I see some writing on there. What is that?
Oh, that was from my lab. So this has the letters, the G, the I, where you had to identify everything in
Oh,
the anatomy.
so
Just like on that needle, I talked about the shank, the groove, the hook in here, everything, the scarf, the point, everything. This little I forgot what it was, but I have a whole lab on that where I give the quiz. I hand it
wow.
out. These are manipulatives we do in education. These are called
Yeah.
manipulatives.
I used to be a preschool teacher. You're talking right up my alley.
I'm right
That's how
there,
I taught all
education.
of my kids and they loved it.
I can teach from
That's so cool.
pre-K just all the way to collegiate level.
That's awesome. That's a skill.
Well, Tammy wants to buy one too.
Okay.
Have a
I'll
list.
put-
You opened up a
I'll-
door here, George.
Uh-oh,
I'll
Paul, you
put it
got
out there, you
competition
know?
for your
Pin the light
studies.
on the needle.
And they won't be like ridiculous that I saw out there. You know. Wait
That'd
till
be
you see the
awesome.
upper
That would-
tension I'm working on.
It would be awesome on at a sewing party, a sewing birthday party.
Hey, my birthday is 4th of July. Come on up. We'll all
Oh,
have a party
really?
together.
Wow.
This
All
is
right.
great. Also, Pat put in the chat that she saw on the Schmetz website. If you're a retailer, educator, designer, media guild, or similar, and want to receive newsletters, I do. If you're not on the Schmetz Needle newsletter, I don't recommend this a lot because I don't like junk mail, but I do love the Schmetz newsletter. Sometimes they call
I'll
out
do
some
that.
people in the industry and things that you haven't heard about. So I do recommend getting their newsletter. And again, I think that if you reach out to them, they'll send you whatever they have.
I just tell them I'm an educator in a community college, and that's a hook right. That's a hook.
Yeah.
I know who my audience is right there.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots of birthdays in the group this month. Mine's on Monday, but we don't want to talk about that yet.
Anniversary is on the
Tell us
9th.
that, Andy.
It's we'll be the most exciting thing on our day Monday is returning the rental car. So, and resting. Now I feel like we're celebrating the whole month. We've got a lot of concerts and things this month. And this is the first month in probably 10 years that we've had like family activities so us going to Wisconsin tomorrow is a big deal because it's my sister's first daughter is graduating and her birthday is tomorrow. So it's really exciting for us to be home and close enough to go to these things now. So we've missed too much
Great.
of life with our family. Man, you guys have made my night.
What about the Surger? I didn't want to bring that up, but
Oh no, you're fine. Just so you all know, I know everybody's anxious for the Surger program. I still have to finish timing since we decided to go ahead and include computerized as much as I can, not like a Luminaire or the ones with the projectors in it. I am trying to teeter the line on legalities as far as what I can include on computerized machines. The reason that the Surger program is getting pushed out is because one, it takes a long time to build. Two, it's like remove your covers. Until I know that I can handle all of making sure everybody has help in all of the programs efficiently, when I open the doors to a Surger program, it's going to be the same thing. It will be a flood of people asking for instruction sheets and things like that. And it's hard for me to make those promises and not be able to deliver. So the Surger program is probably not going to come until I'd say end of third quarter, maybe. That's what I'm aiming for.
well, I've always told you, remember, I've got 20 some odd years as an instructor at Do Labs. I have
Well, I
labs.
understand, but I mean, there is
know.
methods to how we do it. I do have Amy. When Amy and I met up in Indiana, Amy gave me a good stash, so I have them here. But my first priority is finishing the advanced timing program and getting that going, and then we have a couple of major improvements to make to the vintage and the remove your covers and troubleshooting, and then that's when I know that my space is empty again, then that's when I'll address Surger. So,
Yeah.
and then right after that, I want to go in to do the timing and adjustments for Surgers too. So it's really just a
Well,
process.
I'm dangerous. I'm real naive. I'll just jump into things and just go at it and start asking hundreds of questions.
Yeah.
But
that's-
I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. Thought I'd ask.
Yeah, that's fine. Please always ask. But that's, like I said, I hate to make promises on things that I don't feel comfortable until we know that we're able to cover everything. Yeah, and that's the thing. Mirzad said, she said she figured out a bunch of Juki Surgers are basically the same inside. That's the thing. Surgers can be super, super easy or super, super complicated. Most of them you can figure out as long as you can get to the insides, clean it out and lubricate it, then it's pretty cut and dry. But then you have a lot of the Vikings and the older ones and some of the older Singers that's like got hidden screws everywhere that you're like, how does this even, so it's kind of like remove your covers, and I would say it's probably less difficult than sewing machines most of the time. Where it really starts to get sticky is troubleshooting them when you're working with people that are not great at reading the instruction manual. And then, because Surgers are, it's like a sewing machine, everything's got to be perfect or it ain't going to work. But there's so many more steps in those and things. So like I said, it's more for me, it's got to be mentally prepared and having the space to make sure we can devote to it. So still a high priority. Okay. Is there anything else in here? You got anything? Did you see anything else?
No.
Does anybody else have anything this evening before we wrap up?
So I think all my contact information is on my profile, right? So if you ever need to contact me for anything,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'm for that. That's dangerous, but I am. I said, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, let's look at it.
You're right.
Mosquito bite or something. I don't know what it is.
Hey, Andy.
Yes.
Who else is doing the Necky machines?
Charity New and her partner, well, her business partner, Molly,
Molly, they're in Virginia, West Virginia?
Yes.
Virginia.
And I think that's all out of our group. The other people that have gone to them, I was like at VDTA and some others. I don't think there's anyone else in our group that's doing Necky.
Okay, because I'm really curious. I'm getting ready to put the order in, but
Yay!
I would love to have been able to sit down and sew on their online versus their creator series.
Mhm.
Because I'm trying to figure out like the
let me-
creator, because the creator series are selling it with a larger motor, but I sell vintage machines. You're not gonna be able to compete with those.
No, you're not.
So I'm trying to debate between like what are people really gonna want, and I don't want to regret selling anything.
Let me connect you with Charity because I'm almost sure
Okay.
she'd be happy to talk to you. They sold 2 machines in their first week.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I could probably sell them to people. I'm gonna order a ton of sergers though. I
Yeah.
think I could sell the sergers.
Yeah, you can. That's definitely your like wheelhouse there. Yeah, I'm really so are you all set up and ready to go with them and all that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm getting ready.
Good.
I told him I was gonna send it in a week ago and then I didn't, but yeah, well, they have a combo 5x7 embroidery machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I can definitely, I'm gonna
Yeah.
compare that with the brothers and see, because the embroidery lessons, I'm always getting asked for those. So yeah, but I'm trying to, yeah, I don't know how many actual sewing machines I would sell of theirs.
Right.
You know, I might just be doing like the embroidery and the sergers, but yeah,
Yeah,
I would love to know the difference in feel and you know what I mean? Like if someone
don't
sat
know
down and
what my-
sewed on both, if they would be
I-
able to tell difference.
I'm not exactly sure what they invested in as far as machines, but I'm pretty sure Charity would be happy to talk to you. I'll connect you guys.
Okay. I mean, the other option of mine is I think there's an Innovis dealer 3 hours away from me that carries some of the machines, but I don't want to drive 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and I don't know. I'll even ask I've got a phone call with Ryan when we get back. I'll ask him if he can recommend anyone in your area that you could even, or that's not up and established yet that you can maybe talk to.
Yeah. And which model did you get for your class?
The 360. So it was the low mechanical option on the in-store side.
Okay. So it was the Creator
Oh, not
360?
360. No, not
C35.
sorry, C35. Yeah.
Oh
C35.
yeah, okay, that's the one I'm debating about. I'm debating between that and then the online model
I
that
know
comes
that
with
the
the
price,
bed.
like I said, I don't know if I ever sent you the picture. I'll send you the picture. The frame, I mean, it's all metal. There's like maybe gears and like 2 plastic parts in the whole machine. Like even the linkages
Okay.
are metal, which really kind of surprised me.
Okay, that might be all that I need to know then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't want to sell a crappy machine. Like
I know, and
just-
I don't know that they're low ends or I'm just opposed to super low entry just because even Janome, I think Janome is phenomenal, but
Yeah.
when you still get into their super low end machines, it's still a throwaway machine. And some
Right,
of them have
right.
plastic hooks. I don't think Necky did any plastic hooks though.
Yeah, because well, and that's the one thing is the C35. I think it's a drop-in bobbin. It's not a horizontal. I really wish, and I asked him, I was like, "Are you gonna do any of the Creator horizontal?" And he was like, "No."
Yeah, there's so little demand anymore.
I know, but okay, because I'm gonna have to be able to sell these things. I'm trying to think of like the sales pitch I'm gonna give people when I've got like these 1.5 amp
Industrials.
Kenmore motor machines sitting here. I really can't sell the
might
Necky
should
on
be a
that has a
cons-
larger motor.
You might should be
Hey,
a
Amy?
console dealer. Yes.
Hey, Amy? One of the things the guys over at Janome showed me when I was there for dealer training was the jam-proof bobbin.
It's awesome.
That drop-in bobbin, it's not a Janome thing, it's a drop-in bobbin thing. And the way you show it is you get yourself some thread,
Yep.
bunch it all up, and then
Remember
just
that?
drop it on top of that bobbin, close it up, and sew with it. And it'll actually kick out that bunched up thread, underneath, and it'll just keep right on sewing.
Okay,
And
so it's like a preventative measure.
yeah, well, the first time it spins that thread around, it scoops all that stuff up and takes it right back out again.
You're right. It probably scoops it to the side.
Mhm.
No, it takes it right out.
Unlike a bobbin case that's just gonna get it all gooped in there.
No, it takes it right out through the
Oh,
the needle.
see the needle plate.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, right,
Yes.
right up through the needle plate.
we thought that Janome presented it like it was just their machines that did that.
Right,
And then,
right.
yeah. And then after, that was when we worked for the Janome dealer. And then somebody was like, yeah,
They all do.
not really it wasn't Una, it was somebody else. It was like, just so you know, that's pretty much all drop-in machines. We just like to show that off. I was like,
Right, right.
oh.
Right, so
Yeah.
that Necky has the same, if you want to do a
Yep.
comparison against the horizontal bobbins, they don't jam up with thread all that often.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, that's good to know.
Drop-in
That, yeah,
bobbin.
that's really interesting. Now I'm gonna go do that.
And then yet on conversely, Paul just did the video on the FOF on getting the threads out of the FOF because they will jam up the entire machine with thread that gets stuck in the horizontal book.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Does Janome have the FOF IDT foot on any of their machines? The
No,
little
they got AccuFeed, which I like better. That's just
okay,
me, though.
okay. Because that was my other curious thing, because that was a big deal when FOF had that extra when they had the foot, and I know that was a big deal, and I think the patent had run out. So
Yeah,
Necky
Janome's
picked it
got an
up.
AccuFeed that's similar. It's like a big foot that comes out and comes under. All of
Right.
our Memory Craft have them, and some of the higher ones. I don't think Necky does though.
They're really top of the line computerized. I don't think it's the same as
Right.
the Janome, but it looks like the old FOF.
Right.
But it's just an extra one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I might track down Charity and see what she says.
Yeah,
too,
I'll
but
connect you guys.
It's
so
good
that-
to know that you got the C35. So you got the Creator series, the Mechanical Creator. Okay.
Yeah, and then I am going to build, I'm pretty sure that we have the blessing to go ahead and build the dealer program, which is gonna be that one, the 360 for the computerized, and then the combo machine for the embroidery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what that's the other thing I haven't really talked about. That's the other thing that's taking up the summer is I gotta finish the Janome or the Necky program too, so. Yeah, all good things, but holy cow.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, yeah, you'll probably hear from Ryan. Tell Ryan that. Well, the other thing is space, because I realized, oh crap, where am I gonna it's not machines, they're boxes with machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
So
got
like,
a pile of them over there.
yeah, I'm like, where am I gonna put those exactly? We'll figure
Yeah,
it out.
I know,
Okay,
the
that's
ours are
good
shoved
enough.
over in the corner over here for now.
Yeah, I think I might stick with the C35 and not even deal with the
It really
online
is.
ones.
I'll send you, if you remind me, I'll send you a picture of the machine with the covers off, because it's pretty impressive.
Right.
I'll post it in the group because it's just cool to see.
Well, and just the fact that I can be like, yeah, my technicians group, the lady that runs the whole thing, these are the ones she uses to
Well,
change
that's-
people.
I always tell people this is why I work with Necky. It's not just because they gave me an opportunity. I really like their machine. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I might do that then, because I need to get that order into him quick. And also with the whole tariffs thing, I have no idea how much
and
extra
no,
anything's
Ryan,
gonna be.
when we were in Vegas or in Chicago, Ryan said I asked specifically about tariffs. They come from
I think Taiwan.
They are, so they're not affected. If they are, it's minimally, but they have so much inventory in the US that it would be a very long time before they would actually put the tariffs on.
Okay, that's
They
good.
have gigantic inventory in the US.
Okay, that's good
So
then.
I was like, okay, that makes me feel better.
Okay, good. All right, I think I'm gonna go do that paperwork finally.
Let me know if I need to hound you.
I will let you know. Thank you.
All right, guys. Oh yeah, George, here, let me spotlight you here if that's okay. Now you're gonna have to give us your pitch. There we go. Let's see them needles. Oh, now you're muted.
Okay, I got it. What is this? Host?
Oh, I just have you so we can see your needles there.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I got something on my screen, so unmute, I guess. So I'm
Oh, you're
okay.
good. I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So these are my needles that I made when I was teaching that class about sewing.
Wow.
Good
And I
grief.
just went out, like I said, made it. It's just a dowel, just real quick, just a dowel. And I flattened one side, and I did this other side. I just made it, sanded and just rounded it smaller, took it down. I made a little point on it. I made a drilled hole for the thread. I made the little divot in there for the shank, the little
scarf.
shank to go through, scarf to
Yep.
go through. And I didn't put it real point, but I'd say the points vary. And those are just all the different points. And here's with the blade, I just cut across it right in here for the thread, and that's how the thread just lies flat. So when it goes up, it lays flat, but on this side, it loops up for the
Yep.
hook to grab it. And that's it. And it just from that little photo that I saw, and that says, I can make my own.
Yep.
And I did it.
That's really neat, George.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pat
yeah.
said I don't need woodworking as a new hobby, but that is so neat. Here, can you hit room?
I
That's
told you,
great.
I can't control myself. I do everything, and it's just
So now
part
you
of
got a
it.
fan club.
But yeah, just send me I sent Christy, I think I sent you my contact information. It should be on there, but you're welcome to give it away to whoever. I don't care. You know,
I sent you a
I'm
friend's
gonna
request. I
play
didn't see
around with it.
anything
We
on
go
here
out
about it.
to Home Depot and do it again, and I'll actually make a little lab sheet. That's what I do all
Cool.
the time for my IT stuff. How to do it
Thank you for that.
step by
That's
step.
Hey, if I can get it before my my speech on the 22nd, I'd be really, really grateful. But
I'll
if it's
send
too
you one of
soon, don't worry
these.
about it.
I'll send you one of these. You just
Oh,
give me
okay.
the information. I'll just send it, pop in the mail.
Okay,
Probably go
cool.
out on Monday.
All right, thank you. I'll send you a message, and I don't know if you
Sure.
got my email or not, but however you want me to pay you, invoice or whatever.
We're in Texas. We don't know that. It's all good.
I'm gonna say one more reminder because I just got a message from a friend before we close. She's here locally, but she said I'm working at Michael's. Started working at Michael's and got to plug Sewing Doc. So as a reminder that we don't have Joann's anymore, but since Michael's is still going to get the same questions that people at Joann's got. So make sure you stop in at your local Michael's, take a stack of flyers. I bet most of them will be happy to have them on hand because I guarantee you they get hounded all the time.
Yeah.
Probably more so now because nobody's at the cutting counter at Joann's. So it's a good reminder to hit up your Michael's people now and get on their good side while they're bringing fabric in. So,
I like what you said that time about wear your shirt with your company name on there. I
or
do
just a shirt,
t-shirts also.
or
Okay, I
just
do
a shirt that
t-shirts
says
also.
I service sewing machines. It doesn't even have to be a fancy shirt with a logo.
I
Just-
know.
yeah, just put I service sewing machines or whatever you
That's
put on
it.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna probably
Kat,
do
I
that
don't
myself.
actually offer a speech for anybody to use. What I'm gonna do is give what I have been doing, and you all can draw whatever you want from that and take it and use. So you'll have to write your own speech. Probably same for Christy. But I that's what I'll be doing the first week in July. I'll do live, but I'm rewriting it now because it's gotten fairly outdated. So. But yeah, that's what we're doing here is making sure that for those of you that want to do retreats and guilds and things that you have information to offer, that's good. So yeah.
For what I'm worth, whatever I'm worth, if you want, just call me and I'll tell you something or write something, or I've already got something written up.
He's gonna pull out his files.
That's it.
Well, thank you guys. We're gonna go pack for Wisconsin. We'll be back Monday night, so we'll probably not, or Sunday, so we probably won't be really working until Tuesday. Have a good weekend, and if anybody's traveling, be safe. We will see you next weekend. Yeah, we've got a call. The only time we don't have a call this month is the last week. We'll actually be gone from Thursday until Tuesday. We actually are taking a real vacation to Chicago. So
I actually just got back from Niagara Falls. I was there
Ooh.
for a week.
Nice.
that was
Oh, yeah.
nice.
It was great. Just got back just last night.
Well,
Nice.
good.
All right.
Well, you guys have a good weekend, and we'll see you all next week. All right.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Happy birthday,
care.
Auntie.
Oh, thank you. And happy birthday to all of you with birthdays this week.